Hi guys, I'm Liv, and today I thought we could get through some of my TBR. I am a little bit behind on my Goodreads goal. I think I'm actually not sure where I'm at. Let me have a look. I know that I'm a little bit behind, which is okay. It's not the end of the world, but I would like to get back on track a little bit. I did have a book slump and I'm now out of it, so I'd love to get back on track with reading. I'm currently 7 books behind schedule. Not the best position to be in, but it's not the worst. So I thought I'd get through a few of my TBR picks. So I've got a few books I'd love to read, some audiobooks, some physical books, some stuff on my Kindle too. First of all, I've got Lost Star by Rick Yancey. It's the final book in the 5th wave. It's a dystopian book and I'd love to try and read that and just get that read. I've been wanting to read it for ages. It's a short book as well, it's like 300 pages-ish. I also would love to read The Fear by Charlie Higson. It's a zombie book and I just absolutely love it. I feel like it's a good book to like shake up my reading because I've not read anything like that in a long time. I mean, I haven't read The Enemy this year at all. I read it last year, the start of the series. I've not really picked it up since. It's part of a series. I feel like getting into series is a really good way to get back into reading because these are series I've already started, so I already know that I'm invested. So I feel like that can be an easy way to get out of a book slump, and I'm starting to get out of this one. Audiobooks. I have None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I've got that on audiobook, so that's a thriller. And I also have Paradise Problem, which is new by, actually don't remember, it's the same person who wrote the Unhoneymooners. Have a look. That's by Christina Lauren. So yeah, I've got that. I've also got on my Kindle some books ready. I'm probably gonna read a bit of The Lost Star now, I'm thinking, to get me like back into reading properly. Aim for like 50 pages, I think, and yeah, update you in a bit. Okay, I'm reading for about an hour now. I'm at page 75, so I've read more than I even intended today. It's one of those books though, I always find this about the 5th wave, it's one of those book series that when you start reading you just can't stop. Like there's so much that happens that it just feels like you can't put the book down. Chapter ends, it's just like, wait, what? Wait, any more? It's just so good. Right now I've had a lot of perspectives. We've had Sam, Ringer, Cassie and Zombie. So we've had 4 perspectives so far. It is already emotional. Like I'm already like trying not to cry. I'm so attached to everybody in this book because it's now the 3rd book. I'm so attached and it's so heartbreaking because like my favorite characters keep dying. I'm not even gonna lie. My favorite characters keep being killed off. I don't think that's fair. I find that as a personal attack. I've read a good chunk this top bit. I think I could definitely get halfway through this book for definite. I'm listening to a Spotify playlist at the same time and it's really helping. I really am invested in this book so far. It's very fast paced as of right now. Faster paced than the 2nd book. The 2nd book, it was quite slow at the start. The first 100 pages were very slow, whereas this one, like, a lot has happened and I'm honestly like within the first 5 chapters I was like, no, what? So I am really enjoying it. It's really good. I was really missing a dystopian. I've been reading loads of romances, I've read some thrillers, but I've not read a dystopian. I've read 1 this year. 1. That's it for the whole year. So I really needed to read more. Hello, it's been a few hours later, I have sat and watched a film and I've had a little break from my book. I'm at currently page 178. I'm halfway through the book. Like, that is insane. So I'm literally halfway through. I think I'm going to try and get close to the end, if not finish it today. So I'm going to sit down, read some more now and really get into it. The like intensity has happened now, like with like I have no clue how this is gonna end. Like, this is the final book in the series. Like, this is gonna finish everything. Felt like this book was better than the second book. The second book was so much more slow paced. I just felt like it took a lot longer for things to happen, whereas in this book, honestly, by the halfway point I was like, this could have been a whole book. From until the halfway point, that could have been a separate book. Ending I did not expect. Like, that was not what I thought was gonna happen. I had an idea of what I thought was gonna happen and I was completely wrong, but I'm very happy with the ending. I feel like everything came full circle and it was a real well-rounded ending. It was like a bittersweet ending. Like, it was very upsetting, some of the stuff that happened. I don't know what I'd rate it. Honestly, probably a 4.75. I feel like that feels right for this series. See, Fifth Wave was a 5-star, but I feel like that was a book in itself and that was brilliant, and I don't think it really compares to that. However, Infinite Sea was a 4.5 and that was good, but it was missing something. So I feel like 4.75 sits in the middle. So I feel like that works. I feel like in this series, yeah, that definitely works. Yeah, it's the next day and I am ready to read my next read. I have been watching Destiny and Sarah Corelli all morning, so I'm really in that book mood. I feel like if you're ever in a mood that's like, I don't want to read a book, but you know you want to, but you're in like a weird book slumpy mood, I always watch Destiny and Sarah and it always sparks my need to read. That video from watching Sarah's, she did a reread of Happy Place and I kind of want to have another go at Happy Place. So if you know me, you'll know that I read Happy Place at the start of this year in January, I think January or February, definitely at the start of the year, and I did not like it. I feel like I was looking for something in the book that was just not Emily Henry's style. I'd never read Emily Henry before. Kind of want to reread it, give it a second chance and see if I like it, because I feel like that book was meant to more be about like friendships and relationships in general. So I feel like that is something that I kind of missed. I kind of overlooked because I was so searching for the romance. About to start my Kindle read. So I haven't read on my Kindle in a little while now. The last book I read on my Kindle was Beach Read, which was 5 books ago. I think I read it 5 books ago, yeah. I'm looking at reading Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. This is the 3rd in the Housemaid series. I liked the other 2 books. I gave the first one a 4.5, second one I think I gave it a 4.5 or 4.75, can't remember, but I really liked the second one more. This, how many pages does it have? You know when you haven't used your Kindle in a while, you just don't remember how to do anything on it. 364 pages, that doesn't sound too bad. Where do I get my information? I'm nervous for this book, I will say that, because Sarah read it and she gave it a 3-star and I'm just like, wait, what? And she really liked the other 2 and she said that this one was like the most disappointing. I'm hoping it's not. I'm really hoping it's going to be good. This is the book, by the way. It says she lives next door, she knows your secrets. So apparently this one is set in a different timeline. So it's set a few years later. So the first chapter is saying that this one's 3 months earlier to everything. I've already read the first chapter, which was like a scene from later on in the book, which she's done that before, like in both the other 2 books. At the start she had a scene from the end of the book to like keep you like, wait, who is this going to be about? I like that, keeps me guessing. It is a lot later. I've played The Sims, I edited a video and I slept. I had a nap. I literally nap all day. And I've just picked up the book again. I've been reading for a bit now. So I'm at 50% through. So my aim today was to get to page 150. Currently at page 190. Frida McFadden books, I always find myself losing track of where I am. Like, it doesn't matter how long I've been reading it. I will look at the pages and be like, whoa, Jesus, I did not expect to be that far into the book. You can see what Sarah Corelli meant. So she said how like the book, the first half, it kind of didn't have much to it, and I am halfway through now and I can see what she means. So she's moved into this town. This is a few decades later, set after the books, after the first two books. We've got a neighbour who is really nosy and obsessed with our main character's husband, and she just won't leave him alone, and she's clearly attracted to him, and she's an attractive woman, but she's also married. Millie is married to Enzo, and she's protective of her husband, obviously, and for some reason this woman is all over Enzo. And yeah, he's attractive, but he's married to somebody. Been hearing weird noises around the house. There's been a few weird interactions with people, and a few things that she's like been cautious of, and a few things she's caught out, and it's been like, oh, that's what that was about. So that was good. But I feel like compared to the other books, this one is the slowest right now, and it's not really hitting the spot. I feel like if I was Millie in the situation and my husband was getting hit on the amount of times that he's been hit on, I would not be okay. I would be throwing hands. Like, this girl would not have her hair left on her head. And I fully, hand on heart, mean that. I don't understand how we've been reading this stuff happening over and over again for 39 chapters. 39 chapters of watching Enzo act oblivious to the fact that someone's flirting with him. I don't know, man, something's not right, something feels off. Like, not as in like, oh, there's something happening in the book, it's off, as in, I don't feel like this is very realistic. I feel like this is kind of like pulling me out of the book, really, because I'm like, who would be okay with this happening? The stuff with Nico, though, I feel like that's really interesting, and I like that part very much. That is my current focus, is Nico and like what's going on there and reasons for everything. That's what I'm currently interested in. Time to update you on the book that I've just finished reading. Just finished reading The Housemaid's Watching on my Kindle. Man alive, I have a lot of opinions. Sit you down whilst I have a little rant. First of all, The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret were amazing books. They were 4.5 and 4.75 stars for me. Absolutely adored them. They were brilliant, so high staked, so many plot twists, and I never could see anything coming. Housemaid's Watching was basically a book about Millie, our main character, watching her husband potentially have an affair and feel inadequate and feel as though her neighbour was stealing her husband. Now, as we know about Millie, spoilers ahead for the other books, by the way, if you haven't read them. As we know about Millie, Millie is not one to just sit there and take it with things like this. She is incredibly fiery and feisty, and she has that thing about her that just flips, and she is psycho. And we know this from the other books, from what she's done. We know how dangerous she is. We know about everything she's ever done. So for Millie to just sit by and let everything happen, that was so unrealistic to me, and it just felt like the author has forgotten what Millie's character was really like. I also didn't understand how we were repeating information we already knew about. For instance, talking about things that happened in other books, but talking in detail about things that we already knew about. It felt like this book was so disconnected from the other books. It didn't feel like a cohesive third book in a series. Part 2 was incredibly rushed. I felt like it was almost as if a way to try and save the book, because it was so boring. The whole first part is literally just Millie feeling like she's going crazy and getting a little bit angry about her husband potentially cheating on her. When part 2 comes out and we get the different perspectives we always do in the Housemaids series, I didn't enjoy it. I felt like it was incredibly unrealistic, and I just felt like, I know that Freedom McFadden books are a little bit far-fetched and they're meant to be, they're a thriller, but I just felt like the stuff that we were getting told, I didn't believe in the slightest that Millie or Enzo would have done any of it. Part 3 was just rushed. There's no other word for part 3. It was just rushed and lazy. Did not enjoy it. I thought it was so expected that this was going to happen. And the epilogue, not a shock. I had a feeling that this was going to happen, and I was like, I hope it doesn't. I hope it's not what I'm thinking is going to happen, and then it did. So not very happy about that. His like, oh, boys will be boys section, I didn't agree with. I just thought that is not Enzo in the slightest. And the whole, oh, it must be different in America then, I just didn't agree with that. I just felt like Enzo has never once shown that he is that type of person. I also disagreed with him pretending like he didn't have a clue that he was being flirted with. That whole section, I just was like, are you blind? Are you blind, mate? It was so obvious that people were flirting with him and that Millie saw it, and he would clearly clock onto that. He's not stupid. And I just felt like his character was dumbed down so much, and he was like, oh, I didn't understand. And I was just like, yes, you did. You as a character in the other books, you were so smart. I just didn't feel like it made sense for him to be dumbed down in this book. I'm so disappointed in this book. I actually can't. See, I watched Sarah Crowley's video say how like the first half was boring, and I was just like, oh, okay, hopefully I don't feel that way. I felt the whole book was boring. I just felt the whole book was pointless. Nothing happened. I would rate it a 2-star. I don't feel like it deserves a 3-star. I've read other books that I wasn't exactly the most happy about, like Survive the Night, and I gave that a 3. But even that, I had aspects that I enjoyed. This book, I had no aspects I enjoyed. I felt like the thriller aspect was completely lost. I don't care about like having a little affair or anything. I care about more complex stuff. I want it to be life risking and like life-altering things happening, and I want the stakes to be so high. I'm like on the edge of my seat. I don't have any words. I really wanted to like this book, and I'm trying to think of things that I enjoyed, but I didn't. And I just felt like Millie's character as well was dumbed down. I feel like her character was so strong in the other books, and in this book I felt like she was just getting walked all over by people, and we missed that like Millie craziness, like that moment where she snapped. I couldn't help it. Couldn't help it. I really enjoyed Beach Read by Emily Henry, and I really want to reread Happy Place now because of that. I bought a book. I wasn't meant to buy a book today, but I went to get our prescriptions, and I just happened to end up in town, and then I just happened to end up in the works, and then I just happened to pick up Funny Story. I really wanted this book. It's £9.50. I'm going on holiday soon. I don't think I'm going to pick up anything in the airport, to be honest, apart from food. So I got Funny Story. I really want to read this, and it'll look cute on my shelf too. Like, look, it's pretty. I kind of want to read Done and Dusted first, and then read The Fear, because The Fear is going to be like a hard-hitting book. So I feel like today's too sunny for that. I feel like today is way too sunny for a hard-hitting book. I kind of read those at night as well. So I'm thinking Done and Dusted first because it's a Kindle read. How long is Done and Dusted though? That's what I want to know. Done and Dusted. It's on Kindle Unlimited if anyone wants to read it, by the way. It's 348 pages. This is book 1 out of 3 for Rebel Blue Ranch, apparently. Okay, so it's about a girl called Clementine Emmy Ryder. Accomplished everything on her to-do list. Left her small hometown, went to college, made a career by doing her favourite thing, riding horses. And she has an accident and she can't get back in the saddle. She has to return home to the town she wanted to escape. And then we've got Luke Brooks, is the most notorious bad boy in her small town, bar owner and a bachelor. He's also, he's her older brother's best friend. And he's always been around when she was a kid, always annoying her. Font a bit bigger. Oh, that's cute. The first chapter's got a little cowboy boot. That is so adorable. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? I'm reading this book and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's get into this cowboy romance. I'm giggling. I'm like, when things are getting said, in love with this guy already. He's cocky, but not in like a lad way. Like, he's cocky as in like, he's confident. and he trusts in himself, and he cares about Emmy because he's always grown up with her and her brothers. He's like been a brother to them and never to her. Like, he's always just been annoying though to her. They've always like grown up beside each other. There's a 5-year age gap, which I didn't know was going to exist, but there's a little age gap. It's good so far. I'm really enjoying it. I'm so confused on how this happened. I finished a book this morning and I'm halfway through this book. How am I halfway through this book? I've not even been reading it all day. I'm in shock. I've been out, I've done errands, I went and bought a book, I have been to Morrison's, I walked the dog, and I'm somehow halfway through this book. It's so good, and I'm debating getting the physical copies if I enjoy this book so much. Like if I really love it, because the copies are just so pretty. Look, it looks like a typical like cartoon comic. This is not how I picture the characters, by the way. Like, I just think it's like a cute depiction of the whole vibe. Okay, as of right now, I'm at page 169 out of 332, and I am eating this story up. This story is amazing. We've basically seen both Brooks and, well, Luke and Emmy. They've had their first like interaction in the first 2 chapters, and it was like sparks, and instantly I saw that our first trope we have is brother's best friend, and also he fell first. So he literally saw her and instantly he was like zing, obsessed. And he was like, why do I have these feelings about her? And it's like that instant love, instant connection, which I don't think I've actually read about before. So Brooks is actually a nice guy now, and she's struggling to like comprehend how he used to be such a chaotic person as a kid, and now he's this reliable person that has his own bar. He is a teacher, and she can't comprehend that he's a different person. He is so considerate and so wonderful. I truly love this character. He could potentially be in my favourite book boyfriends. Luke is basically helping Emmy get over her fear of horse riding, and it's done in such a good way. Like, the whole story is so beautiful right now, and there's a lot of talk about panic attacks and trauma and dealing with trauma, and also ADHD burnouts, just burnouts in general. And I like that. I like how much it's normalizing it, and I'm very much a fan of everybody in this book. I do think the next book is going to be about Teddy and Gus. Their banter in it, it's so fiery and so like, they're like chalk and cheese, and I love it. I just think it's going to be such a good book if it is them two. I like Gus. I love Wes. Wes is somebody I just want to give a hug. I like the dad. I think he is lovely, Mr. Ryder. And I just love the dynamics in this book. It is giving Chestnut Springs, but it's not like a copy of it. It's like a very different style. So it's very much Cowboys. The dynamics is so different to Chestnut Springs, and I love that it's not a copy, which I was worried about. Why am I literally in tears at this book? It's not even sad. That's the problem right now. It's not even sad, and I'm like welling up. Teddy, the best friend, she's the bestest best friend in the world. Like, I don't think I've read a better best friend. I think she's brilliant. I think there's something wrong with me. Crying. Like, that is a tear. I can't. I need to stop crying. Literally about to do my nails, and I'm like, okay, this story's great, and then I need to calm down. And then this story's great, this, that, and the other, and then we get like the thing I was worried about that was gonna happen. Nothing terrible or anything. I'm really happy with the way this story has gone, and everything's happened, and then I just start bawling. I don't know why. Finished the book. Finished the book. I want to say that ending was perfect. I couldn't have expected anything more. I am so happy with how that book ended. I was so nervous it was going to be really typical, and the way it ended was just perfect. And the epilogue, can we just talk about the epilogue for one moment, please? the epilogue was done so well. I feel like my pet peeve with romances, one of the reasons that I sometimes am a bit like ugh at the end of reading them, is the epilogue sometimes. I don't want to see my characters 20 years down the line with kids, married, and in some fancy house that they've bought with the careers they now have. I don't want that sometimes. Sometimes I just want to see where they are in a week's time. So this book was so good. The tropes that I've seen are him healing her and helping her. He has a broken like family life, and she is younger than him. There's a 5-year age gap. Also, brother's best friend, he fell first. Those are all the tropes that I found, and oh my god, it's like my favourite tropes put into one book. I can't even put into words how good this book was. So some of my favourite things about this book, I think the first thing, my favourite thing about this book was how Luke was seen as like, not a playboy, but he did sleep with people. He was known for sleeping with people before the book, as in like that's what his past was, but it wasn't the truth. Like, he was perceived as a playboy, but he wasn't actually. So I liked that. I liked like the truth coming out. I also liked how honest Luke was. One of the biggest things I liked in this book was the communication. A big thing in romances is that they don't communicate, and this book they did communicate, and I loved that. I also loved that, well, one thing I will say, I was really worried this was going to be a copy of Wild Love. If you don't know, Wild Love is brother's best friend as well, and it's the same premise of the girl left town and now she's back years later. They used to know each other when they were kids, brother's best friend. It's the exact same trope. So when I started reading this, I was thinking, oh god, please don't be a replica of Wild Love, because I'll be really disappointed. It was not. It's like the polar opposite of Wild Love. So if you're thinking they're the same, don't worry, they're literally the opposite of each other. Also say Ford and Luke's personalities are polar opposites from each other, and the brother's reaction is, in my opinion, better in Done and Dusted. I just thought the brother's reaction to the whole situation was so much more realistic. Like, when it happened in the book, I was like, oh my god. But then I had another thought, and I was like, but that makes sense, like he would react that way because any brother would. It's like the type of reaction that it happens and you're like, Jesus, and then you're like, no, I understand. Like, you get it once you think about it. I liked the dad. He was giving Harvey vibes from Chestnut Springs. Very different, but like, he's that dad that like knows everything. He's very open to talking about things with his kids, and I liked that. I liked his impact in the book. Sometimes you don't expect the best friend to be in the book that much, but she was in this book, and whenever she was playing the best friend character amazingly. Like, she was the best friend. Like, all the knowing looks and the I see what's going on kind of things, that is such a best friend thing to do. I'm going to rate this book a 4.75. Happily will rate it a 4.75. Happily will rate it a 4.75. I truly, hands on heart when I say this, am obsessed with this book. It was so good. I was expecting some gimmicky little, you know, cute romance book. No. This book, by the way, is spicy. Like, it is spicy. If you're expecting something that's got no spice in it, you're gonna have a big shock ahead of you, because this is one of the spiciest books I've read in a long time. Like, I've not read a spicy romance in a while. The last romance I read was Part of Your World, and Abby Jimenez's books are not spicy. Like, they're very lovely, romantic, heartfelt, but they're not spicy. With Emily Henry's, like, they have a little bit of spice, but not to this level. Like, this level was crazy. Like, the praising and all this stuff happening, I was just like, this takes me back. Like, I don't think I've read a book like that since, I don't know, King of Sloth? Or was it no, I think it was King of Sloth. I don't know, I haven't read one in a while, but I was kicking my legs. I was so excited. I was giggling, mate. I was giggling. I don't giggle. I'm in shock that I finished 2 books in the same day. Hello, it is the next day. I've just done some admin stuff for holiday. I went and got some like mosquito repellent stuff and put some medication and just did loads of bits and pieces, and now I am sat in my car waiting for a call. But I just thought I'd update you. So I have been reading whilst I've been driving, not like an actual physical book. I've been listening to an audiobook. Started The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. It is a new release I wanted to read because I did enjoy The Unhoneymooners. I thought it was a pretty decent book. Her books are very like cutesy. Apart from Love and Other Words, I think her books are pretty much like rom-commy. I am actually 14 chapters into it, which is quite far. I'm pretty impressed with myself with that. I did start it last night and I've carried it on today, but just whilst I've been getting things done, I just thought I'd get a good chunk of that read because I do love a good audiobook. It's nothing groundbreaking, I will say that. Like, I'm not overly shocked by it or impressed. I'm just reading it, I'm enjoying it. What's happening right now in the book? So Paradise Problem is about two people who got married when they were in college, and it was to get a residency like home, so to get some accommodation, because the only accommodation they had was family accommodation and you have to be married or related. So they got married just for that, and then they got divorced, and this is years later, and he has asked her to come and pretend to be his wife because they're not actually legally divorced. She's playing the part of the wife, and she is very much, she's got a potty mouth, she swears like a trooper, she is not from like a flashy background or anything, she's pretty much broke and she's just lost her job, but she is enjoying, I forgot my words because someone's staring at me, that's so awkward. He is part of a family which is like really big, and his family owns some supermarket chains, so they're quite rich, and because of some inheritance rules, he can't get his inheritance unless he's been married for 5 years, and also his parents will kind of disown him if they find out that his marriage was all just a big lie. The dynamic between all the family is very interesting. We've still not found out what the big thing was that caused the rift in the family, but I'm assuming that's going to come like maybe at like the 70% mark. Hello, it has been quite a few hours. I've packed, I've been listening to my audiobook. I have got to chapter 16 or 15 or 16, I think it's 16, and I am really enjoying this book. It's very rom-commy. It's not going to be a 5-star, but it's got the potential to be in the 4-star rating, like 4 to 4.5, I'm thinking. Really good, I'm really enjoying it. I'm just gonna end the vlog here though because I need to edit this video and then go away, and I'm so excited for it. I'm gonna read The Dead when I'm on holiday, and I'm going to listen more about audiobook whilst I'm on the plane, and yeah, that's about it. Hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time in another video. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and I'll see you guys soon with another one. Bye!